So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. There's people on this call from all over the world, so thanks for tuning in today. We've got some excellent training for you covering various aspects of the business. My side is going to be a bit more basic than Ray's side. I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the bull and the bear for those of you that are unfamiliar with that. It's something that took me quite a while to get my head around, I have to say. So I'll go through it again step by step so that you can get a clear picture of that. Then I'm also going to just talk about a little bit of training on how, when we're enrolling people, the importance of hand-holding initially to stop any issues. And we've got a lot of support tickets coming through to the company, and this is something that we can reduce. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the bull and the bear, because, as I said, when I first started, it took me ages to get my head around. I was very focused on building the business, very focused. And so I actually capped out twice when I first started because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not sure that John was actually fully up to speed on this either. I used to ask him to explain it to me, he'd explain it to me, and I'd be absolutely none the wiser. So hopefully I'll do a slightly better job. It was either the fact that John wasn't a very good teacher, or more likely that I'm not that bright and I couldn't get my head around it. So let's just go through this. I apologize for you guys that have already been in the industry, in the business for a while and know all this, but it is important. I know there's a lot of new people on the call, and it is important that you do get your head around this. So when I first joined Cashfx, I was told that basically everyone starts off as a bear, where we will get daily trading commissions and also forced matrix commissions if we're in a sort of an active team. And we get 2 times our purchase price back. So in the case of a $300 pack, as we've got here, that would be $600 back. Now, I was then told that if you start introducing people and you introduce just one person, you're then going to receive 400% back on your purchase. And I thought, well, that's brilliant. Introduce just one person, you're going to get 4 times back. The reality is slightly different from that. It works out a similar way, but there is a subtle difference and an important difference. So when you're new to the business, or even when you're in the business for a while, these are the important things you look at. You don't really look at the left-hand side here, the elemental side, because yes, that gives you an overview, but that's not the detail you need. The important bits are your bull and bear meters here. You're keeping an eye on these percentage figures here, and you also keep an eye on your account balance. Now, the idea of the business, and as we know, if any of you have seen my presentations, is you have that flexibility. You can do whatever you want with the business and the money coming in from the business, as long as you obviously make sure you've always got enough money to buy a new pack when the pack completes. That's a key thing, by the way. In fact, I might even talk about that. You've got to keep an eye on, because you don't want to cap out. So again, just to explain why that is, when you buy a pack, it completes 2 times. If it completes, then you have to buy a new pack at either the same level or the level above. You can't buy a lower level. And so you have to make sure that you have enough money available to do that. And when you do cap out, you have to pay the full price. So if you're on a $300 pack, you would either buy a $300 pack, or you have to buy a full price $500 pack. Now, the challenge with that is if you cap out, because of the 20% fee, you wouldn't have necessarily enough money to be able to do that without putting more of your own money in. So therefore, most people end up going back to the original pack. So ideally, you want to be able to upgrade. So you don't want to cap out, because if you can upgrade before the pack completes, then you can upgrade by just paying the discounted price, or the difference between the pack that you're on and the pack that's above you. So on a $300 pack, you'd only have to pay $200 to upgrade to the $500 pack. So that's the ideal scenario. So what you're looking for is to have enough money here to be able to sort of upgrade from the $300 pack to the $500 pack. So in this instance, you'd need 200 and is it $260 here in this account to be able to upgrade to the $500 pack once you're on the $300 pack. Why $260? You've got to remember, you've got to have the 20% taken off. And I also allow just a little bit more for wallet fees. So what that means is if you draw $260, you will end up with $208 in your wallet, which is perfect to come back in and then purchase the upgrade to the $500 pack. So that's what you've got to look out for here. You've also got to watch these two here. Now, as you can see, this is just a passive account. There's no activity going on the bull side. So this is the meter that I'm just keeping an eye on. And this is going to be going up very slowly at this stage, just simply because we're trading a small amount of money. However, if you are building the business, and in particular, if you are building the business quickly, so you're introducing a lot of people and helping them doing the same, then you'll see that your bull here will shoot up very quickly. And remember that a pack completes at 2 times. So $300 pack will complete at $600. So there's not a lot of headroom in there to grow, particularly if you're introducing people with $300, $500, $1,000 packs. There's a lot of fast starts coming in very quickly and unilevel, which can very quickly cap you out, which is exactly what happened with me. I was building the business really fast, working really hard, going absolutely flat out on it. And so as a result, because I didn't know what I was doing, I was capping out. And I remember actually phoning up John saying, I'm not making any commissions, what's going on here? And he then explained, well, have you capped out? And I looked and said, oh yeah, okay, I have. And by the way, in those days, it sounds like a Monty Python sketch. In our day, it was hard. It was, because if you capped out any commissions that were due to you, you actually lost. Now we've got the 7-day break, so it gives us time to repurchase the pack, and we then pick up any commissions that have not been paid. Whereas when we first started in the early days, we didn't get that, so we actually pointed out to them that was actually a bit unfair, and they actually agreed and then changed that bit. So ideally, you don't want to cap out. If you are building your business quickly, then you are going to see this percentage go around very quickly. So this is the main thing, particularly if you're, as I said, building a business quickly. You're going to see this percentage going up quickly. You're also going to be watching this. As soon as you've got enough money there to upgrade, then you upgrade. Now, the other thing you've got to watch out for is if there are people that you are personally introducing, or people in your team that are introducing, that are coming in at bigger packs. If someone comes in at a 30, 40, 50, sorry, 30 or 50K pack, for example, that could put a lot of commission in the system, which can instantaneously cap yourself out. Now, what most people do under those circumstances, particularly if it's a new business, is they ask the person that's coming in at the high level to start off at a smaller pack, which then gives you enough commission to upgrade. They then upgrade to the next level. That gives you enough commission to upgrade again. And so you just like leapfrog each other, so to make sure that you don't cap out. So that's one of the things. I mean, it's a great thing, if you've obviously got people coming in with high levels, higher packs, but just obviously be aware of that, particularly if you're on a smaller pack. It doesn't matter if you're on a bigger pack, if you're on a 20, 30K pack, you've got masses of headroom in there to absorb that. But obviously on a smaller pack, 300 or 500, even $1,000 pack, you have to just keep an eye out for that when that happens. So these are the things you've got to look at. And I've seen sometimes people say, oh, well, this went to 200%, but this was still showing as 30%. So I've still got another 70% or whatever to go before I cap out. And the answer is, well, no, because as soon as one of these two caps out, then you are capped out. Okay, so that the pack is complete. So whichever one goes more quickly, the one that gets to the 200%, your pack is completed. Now, one thing also that is good is that this 19% here includes the money I'm going to be paid this evening. So that's an important point. This money, that 90%, includes the money I'm going to be paid this evening. So what happens is when I get paid this evening, you don't see a sudden jump up of that percentage. The percentage stays the same. So that again gives you that buffer. You can see what's coming this week. So you're going to not, if for example, if you're on 180%, you don't have to worry about the fact you're going to suddenly cap out once we get paid this evening. So that takes off a bit of the pressure, because it gives you a clear overview of what's happening with your account. So just to sort of recap, you've just got to keep an eye on these two percentages, whichever one's growing more quickly. Obviously, if you are on a small pack, this will go relatively slowly. If you're introducing people to the business, remember, I started off with a $300 pack. So my business growing as quickly as it was very easy for me to cap out. So this is the thing that I should have been keeping an eye on and didn't know. And also, when as soon as I've got enough money here, then I upgrade. So calculate what that amount is, whatever pack you're on. Allow for the 20% fee and also the that additional sort of $10 in your calculation. How much money you need here to be able to upgrade to your next pack, and just keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this. And as soon as you've got enough money there to upgrade, then do so. The question often people ask me is, well, you know, I'm nearly at 100% here, you know, do I have enough money to upgrade? Well, remember, you get 200% here, 200% here. Just so you understand the advantage of this, once you get up to the higher packs, and particularly if you're on a 100K pack, the way it works is this: one of these two is going to cap out first. So at the moment, my bull is going faster than my bear, and so therefore, when this will cap out at 200%, that means I've been paid $200,000 on a 100K pack. But this won't be too far behind. This will be around, you know, 150, 170,000 at the current speeds. And oh goodness, that's John Canary still up. It's in the middle of the night there. That means I've also been paid another $160,000, $170,000 on top of that. So you do get 400%. You know, that is the potential. You'll never actually hit that unless your business is absolutely perfectly balanced. But the odds, that's not going to happen. But the fact is, you know, when this completes on a 100K pack, you then have to buy another 100K pack, which then just continues the process. So you're not missing out on any money. It just continues the process. So the faster you can renew your packs, the faster your business, you know, the more income you'll be earning from the business. So we're not capped, because that's another thing. People think we're capped at, you know, at an income from a 100K pack. No, because you're making commissions and stuff. It just means the 200K pack, the time it takes for the pack to complete gets less and less and less, which means you're earning whatever money you've earned. So in this case, 200K plus you've got this as well. Remember, you've also got to allow for the 20% fee, and also the fact you're going to come in and buy another 100K pack. So I always take one of these, whichever one completes first. I work out that I've just made $60,000 in this one. Then whatever's in this one here is then in addition to that. So if my packs are completing out, say every just a couple of months now, when that happens, I'm getting 60K from here plus whatever's in here as well. So that's basically how that works. Hopefully that's giving you an indicator. But whether you understand it or not, the key thing you've got to keep an eye on is just keep an eye on these two percentages here. Make sure neither one of them gets up to 200%, and keep an eye here to make sure, you know, calculate how much money you're going to need to upgrade to the next level up. Allow for the 20%, allow for the additional $10. So keep an eye on that. And as soon as this gets to that point, upgrade immediately. And of course, you just withdraw and then come back in and upgrade your pack. And upgrading is very simple. You just click on here and you just go through the process from there. So I hope that's given you a better understanding of the bull and the bear. It is an important part of the business. When I'm showing the business to people, by the way, I don't even bother going there and showing people the bull and the bear, because I mean, you know, it's way too complicated for someone that's just looking at the business. It's not necessary to know. We make money from all these ways: the trading, the force matrix, the fast starts, you know, progress, the personal matching, and that is an amazing feature of the business, by the way, guys. You know, it's amazing. It's fantastic to see. You know, you've got your daily trading coming in. We get paid this today. We're going to get the unilevel today, and the fast starts. And I mean, the fast starts again are extraordinary, and I'll keep coming back to this. We're in a business where you can introduce people for $300. Most of the people I introduce to Cashfx, because remember, I started off with a $300 pack. Because I started off with a $300 pack, people do what you do. So a lot of the people I introduced started off at $300, like, for example, Martin Arena did. He started off at $300. You know, he's now on a 100K pack. And just in the last, you know, however many weeks we've been, you know, in this month so far, You know, I've already been paid over $10,000 just in the fast starts. I mean, you think about that. You'd need a big, big business in another network marketing company to be making $10,000 a month. And this is just from my fast starts, from people that started off with small packs just 11 months ago. So this is a remarkable feature of this business, the fact that you can make that kind of money just from the fast starts. So when you're introducing someone for $300, great. You know, particularly if they're a business builder. If they're a business builder, they will build their account. Most business builders, if they take the business seriously, can get up to the 100K pack in or and around a year. That's where they want to be, of course. Everyone wants to be at the 100K pack. Particularly if the EA gets switched on again, we're going to see going up to 10% or even higher returns. That is a very serious weekly return. You're looking at $7,000 plus coming in every single week. So people obviously want to get up to that level as quickly as possible. And when they do, if you've introduced them, you're looking at very, very seriously weekly returns. I mean, the staggering figure for me is Justin and Luigi. They've actually managed to introduce 200 people. So you can imagine how much money they're going to be making up on the fast start. So this is an amazing bonus, guys. So as I said, hopefully that's helpful regarding that. Now, just a bit of sort of thing on the admin, because this is really important. I'm getting bombarded at the moment, which it's a thing that we have to deal with in the business. There are always going to be glitches and issues and everything else. We know that the current payment processor is playing up live pay for whatever reason. There are issues, glitches. It's not a disaster, but there are glitches and issues there. And that can't be helped. And if there is an issue where someone's paid their money and for whatever reason it hasn't gone through, then obviously we have to deal with that. And it's also putting a lot of pressure on the customer support team because they are going through a third party. So it's not just them. So when we send a support ticket regarding an issue like that, it's not something that they can fix. They then have to, whatever they do, then communicate with LivePay. So we're then kind of reliant on LivePay's customer support team. So that's causing a backlog, which is obviously causing issues across the board. But there are areas that we can help. And one of the things I'm seeing again and again and again is where new people have been left to purchase a pack and they've got it wrong. Now, this is something, any of you that are my personals or in my team, you'll see, I know Ray is the same, is when I bring on a new person, there is no way do they buy a pack themselves. Absolutely no way. And not just the first time, the second time, the third time, until they know exactly what they're doing. So, I introduce Fred. First of all, I help him go through, step by step. The process I go through is I help them set up their wallet first. I don't get them registered yet with Cashfx. I help them set up their wallet first, get that all set up, get that funded. We use a company called 𝙏𝙗𝙖𝙣𝙠 which is very good, but you have to wait 24 hours. So we get that all set up, verified, money deposited. We then have to wait 24 hours. I set the appointment and I then go back in. We then get them registered. And we I then make sure that they go through the process of buying the pack. That's the first time. Now that person is out there now introducing people. And when they start introducing people, I then do exactly the same thing. So the people that they are first introducing, I then go on the call with them and help them go through the process of registering that person, getting their pack, their wallet set up, getting them registered to Cashfx and getting the pack purchased. I do that again and again, and I start backing away from it. The way I do that is I say, right, in this one, you're going to be going through the process. You're going to be showing, I'm going to be watching, and I'm going to be showing. They're viewing it, so I can see what you're basically doing. And once I can see that they're confident and they can do it, then I don't have to do it anymore. And by the way, guys, then I'm leveraged, because they then go out there and do it themselves, and they're doing that same process with their own people. So this is so important, because as I said, I get things all the time. Oh, the person signed up, under someone else. So what's happened is they've gone on someone else's website, they've looked at something there, and then they've now registered with yourself, but because there are cookies on their page, when they go to register, they're registering under the other person. If you're there, you can spot that and make sure that they're coming in under you. Oh, you know, the person didn't send enough money, then we got into a mess and now the account's jammed. Okay, again, make sure that you're showing them to send a little bit extra. Oh, they sent money twice. Oh, they sent too much money, etc., etc. The thing is, okay, the setup process with Cashfx is not difficult. It's just new for people. And if something's new, they will get it wrong unless you are holding their hand. It is so important you do this. And it is kind of becoming annoying now that I'm seeing this again and again. Oh, this person, they're a big networker, they could bring in 1 million people and they've got this, that, and the other. And yet, you know, no one was there to make sure that they were registering. This is becoming an issue for me, because it is, what's happening is these are unnecessary tickets going through to the company. It's causing, you know, people to be unhappy, you know, blaming the company, this, that, and the other. So the buck stops with us. We have to make sure that we are hand-holding until someone is confident to do the same, and we make sure that everyone is doing that. If we do that, it will significantly reduce the number of support tickets, the number of unhappy people in the business. You know, there's a lady, for example, she's now sort of threatening to write bad things about the company because it's taken 2 weeks to sort her thing out. You know, this is the sort of thing that we can avoid by making sure that we are hand-holding right the way through until someone is fully trained. And, you know, and it does take time. I mean, yesterday I was on a call with one of my new guys, and we were on that call for an hour, just helping a couple of people just to get going. It takes time, but what happens is it's all about you invest the time up front, and then you get that leverage moving forwards. And it is so important that we're doing this, guys, because as I said, it'll make the whole process much easier. Now, the company, being the good company that it is realizes there is a potential issue with LifePay. They actually realized it before it even became an issue, which I'm impressed with. But 𝙏𝙗𝙖𝙣𝙠 and Ron have been working diligently behind the scenes to develop their own payment processor, which is not an easy thing to do, and that is in final testing stages now. So hopefully we're going to see it soon. So this is you know, the company is on the case to get the issue fixed. They're also, of course, expanding their support team. But we've got to remember to be patient. This is a brand new company and it is growing very fast. And taking on customer support staff is not an easy thing to do. You can't just sort of say, right, you want to come to customer support? Yeah, great. Then you go, there you go, you're off. It doesn't work like that. You've got to find the right people. You've got to interview them. You've got to then employ them if they want to be employed, of course. Then they come and then they have to be trained. And, you know, there's a lot of intricacies here, isn't there? You can't just turn up and just, oh, okay, I know what to do now. So there's a process. It's a slow process. And with the company growing as fast as Cashfx, you know, it is going to be behind the curve, particularly when we have a curveball we've got right now with things like LifePay not working properly. So just obviously bear with it. We've got to do our part, make sure that people in our businesses are not sending unnecessary support tickets, asking questions. We've got people, instead of asking their upline or looking at the FAQ, which is a very good FAQ, they're just basically, you know, writing in support tickets, that kind of thing. If there is the screen goes down for whatever reason, the site goes down because there's been an issue or glitch with certainly with the new server or whatever, you know, people shouldn't be writing in support tickets. Because all of this, all it does is cause delays. Oh, and one other thing, really important. If you've written in a support ticket and haven't had a response, do not write in another support ticket. They've got that support ticket. You don't need to write in more. If you write in more, bang, goes on the pile. So everyone else's now is later and later and later. So just it's really important, guys, that we take ownership of our business, make sure that we're hand-holding, make sure we're reducing these support tickets. If we do that, then we'll see that the speed of the responses really speed up, which is exactly what we want. All right, guys, well, mine was quite a short training, but obviously, hopefully, there was some value in that. So I'm going to pass you back over to Ray. Those of you who probably know Ray by now. He is a remarkable individual. He's been in the industry for around, I think, 37 years. He's a very successful traditional businessman. He's made a lot of money in software development. He's a bit of a genius, makes me look a complete idiot when we're talking about anything to do with computers. But he's also been very successful in network marketing. He's been the #1 income earner with 3 companies. He's currently the #1 income earner with his current company. And this is an interesting thing. He has left that company to one side. He's no longer building it, but he's not touching it. He's not bringing anyone over from that business Cashfx, which I think is a very novel approach, an ethical approach as well. He has a good relationship there, but he's been so impressed with Cashfx, and he's seen a lot of businesses over the years. He's been with that company for 13 years. This is the first business that has turned his head, and he can see, the huge potential of what we've got here with Cashfx. So he's building it from scratch, and he went executive in his first 24 days. He's already building a big team. He's inches away from going manager, and the tools and systems and knowledge he brings to the business is remarkable. So he's going to share again a very important aspect of the business now. And if you look at the people that are successful in the business, they all have this kind of mindset. So let me pass you over to Ray.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Richard, for that very, very kind introduction. That's very nice of you. I can only reiterate what Richard has shared with you this morning. Having built a multi-million-pound software business myself, I obviously have an understanding of things from the inside, and I am uber impressed by what Cashfx and the Conversion Pros have done here with the software systems that we have in place. And I developed my software platform 7 years ago, and we're still developing it. It's not 100% perfect yet, but it's brilliant as far as we're concerned. So it just will get better. It will get better and better. But if you don't hold your people's hands through the sign-up process, as we said in part 4 of the Power Build training last week, if you don't hold their hand, you will just generate problems. I make sure, as Richard does, that whenever I bring a new person into this business, I make sure that I am on a Zoom call with them until their pack is purchased and their account is active, and I go through every step with them, and I will do it again and again and again until I am sure that they have understood it, that they've got it, and they know how to do it themselves, so that they in turn can pass it on to their team. And it solves a lot of problems. Okay, it just does. So what am I going to talk to you today? Well, a little bit of a diversion from the Power Build system today, because what I'm going to talk to you today is about something very important. It's about mindset. And as Richard said, I've been in this industry a long time, and mindset is a key thing. And really what I want to discuss today is why some people succeed where other people fail. Okay, what is the difference that makes some people succeed where other people don't seem to succeed? Okay, now some might say, well, is it that, is it only the beautiful people that succeed? Well, I can absolutely tell you that it's nothing to do with good looks. Okay, it's absolutely nothing to do with good looks. I say this with respect. I've met some very ugly people who are very successful in network marketing, so I know that it's nothing to do with looks. And I'm not the best looking fellow on the planet, and I've been fortunate enough to be very successful in this industry. Okay, and others might argue that they've got a high paying job, and it's nothing to do with that. It just isn't. And in fact, I just want to examine what a job or a job is for a minute, because I don't think many people actually know what a job is. And I'm no disrespect to anyone that's got a job. If it pays the bills, that's fine. But when you begin to compare what a job is to what we have here, you begin to understand that a job is something where you would jump out of bed every morning so that you can jostle for a space on the bus, so that you can go to a place of work where you can just obey the boss and live your life just over broke, so that you can spend all your time juggling outstanding bills. Okay, and most people have this job mentality. Okay, but there are people in network marketing who've broken out of this. Okay, and have become successful in network marketing, but many people still have this job mentality. Okay, and what that does is it keeps them poor. Okay, and it's a key word, this, because not many people understand why people remain poor. And the reason is because they pass over opportunities repeatedly. Okay, what they do is they stay with their job because they feel that that's secure, and that's a safe place for them, and it pays their bills just about. But in fact, what they're doing is making somebody else rich. They're digging someone else's ditch for them, okay? The man that owns the company is the man that's getting rich, okay? And that's just a fact. And you find that generally people who are poor are the people that pass over opportunities repeatedly. Okay? Now, for those of you who don't know who this guy is, you need to start reading his books. Robert T. Kiyosaki, one of the world's wealthiest men, richest man in Hawaii. And he wrote a brilliant book, which I'm going to go into sometime, called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And he said this: the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. And that's what Robert says. And he's absolutely right. So that's why we're here, because we're looking to become wealthy. And so what we're looking to do here is build a network. Now, we might argue that why some people succeed where others fail, you know, is it down to intelligence? Is it because some people have just a better brain than other people? I'm going to argue against that, because I want to introduce you to this guy. This guy is called Chris Dawson, okay? Some of you may have heard of him, some of you may not. And he's an ex-market stall owner. He had a market stall for 9 years. And in 1989, he opened one small shop in Plymouth, down in Devon. And as of today, Chris can't do basic maths. He can't really add up much, okay? He can hardly read or write. In fact, he didn't learn to read until he was 27. I'll just let that sink in. He didn't learn to read until he was 27, and he can still only read rudimentary reading, and he can hardly write. It is a fact that he has never read a book in his life. Never read a single book. And he can't drive. But today he has 175 superstores around the UK, and he's now branching into Europe, and he's a billionaire. Can't do maths, can't read or write, never read a book, can't drive, but he's a billionaire. So we now know categorically that it's nothing to do with intelligence, it's to do with mindset, okay? And I just want to talk about McDonald's for a moment, because I've got a couple of friends that actually own McDonald's franchises. And McDonald's do this thing called franchisee profiling, okay? You might pronounce it franchisee, I pronounce it franchise or whatever. Let me tell you what McDonald's don't look for, because this may surprise you. They don't look for entrepreneurs. They're not looking for people with ideas. They're not looking for people who've got the next big thing. And they're definitely not looking for people who know it all. Because McDonald's have a simple system. And it's that simple system that's made them one of the biggest companies on the planet. Okay? Somebody once told me about 10 years ago, I don't know if it's still true, that everywhere in the world, there is a McDonald's restaurant opening every 10 minutes. Everywhere in the world, all over the world, there is a McDonald's restaurant opening every 10 minutes. That's phenomenal. Okay? The reason they've got that is because they've got a simple system. And in talking to my friends, I learned that it is farmers who are most successful in applying for a McDonald's franchise. And I learned why. It's because farmers stick to a routine. They have a daily habit. They get up at the crack of dawn, they go milk the cows, they go and put muck on the fields, they go and herd the sheep, they gather the crop and they go home. They have daily routine habits, okay? And they adjust those habits to the season. They don't have many ideas. They're not the most creative of people. They're not the most entrepreneurial of people. Sorry. They're not the most entrepreneurial people. They are very, very willing to get their hands dirty, okay? They'll roll their sleeves up, get mucky and get stuck in. Above all, they will read the instructions, okay? And above all, they will follow the instructions. So when a farmer gets a bag of fertilizer, he doesn't put it down to one side and look at his field and go, right, I'm going to maybe do it this way, or I'm maybe going to do it that way, or I'm maybe going to do it this way. No, he'll pick up the packet, he'll read where it says, mix this, 1 part fertilizer to 1,000 parts water. He'll go and do that, and he'll put it on the field. And he'll reap the harvest because of that. Okay? He'll follow the instructions and reap the harvest. Farmers are simple people, okay? And they can follow a simple system. And it's true of us here. Richard will agree with me that we talk to a lot of people in the business, and they come into the business and go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. In fact, I was having a call with somebody not an hour ago in Thailand, one of my team, and I said to the guy, this is what I do when I join a network marketing business. I go and find the most successful person I can find in that business. And Richard is certainly one of the most successful business people in Cashfx. And I say to that person, how did you get to where you got to in this business? And that person tells me, and Richard told me, he said, I built a team and this is how I did it. Do you know what I did? I did exactly the same thing. Because if it works for Richard, it's going to work for me, and it is working for me. My team is now about 230 people, and today is day 74 for me, okay? Because I followed a simple system, okay? I didn't have any of my own great ideas. I didn't go out there and try and reinvent the wheel. I didn't go out there and try and change the system. What I did is I looked at Richard. I looked to Richard and at Richard for guidance and said, I'm going to do what you've done because that works. Clearly it works, okay? And I recommend that that's what you do. Go to your sponsor. If they're successful, emulate what they do. Do what they do. If they're not the most successful person in the business, go to their sponsor and keep going up until you find the person who is the most successful person in the business. For us, we are so lucky to have Richard as our team leader. You don't know how blessed you are to have a man as gifted and skilled in building this kind of business as Richard. Okay, I kick myself sometimes, the fact that I'm in his team, because that's a blessing to me, because that's going to help me grow my business. And Richard gives his time willingly and without cost to help us all. Okay, it's a real blessing. So do what Richard does. Follow his simple system. Follow his example. Follow his advice. Okay. And I'm only emulating what Richard does. So if you take advice from me, you can guarantee you're going to get the same advice from Richard. Okay, the same systems we have in place. We all do the same thing. Okay, we all work with Power Build. We build our teams that way. And the main thing is that we're persistent at it. I hear from some people in the business that say, well, I've been in the business 3 weeks and I haven't signed anyone up. So what? So what? I know people that were, in my other company that joined for 6 months and didn't sign anyone up. But now some of those people are the biggest earners in my business over there. Why? Because they had perseverance, okay? You don't give up at the first hurdle. You don't give up at the first failure. And this goes to mindset. Perseverance is part of your mindset, okay? And Steve Jobs, a man who I had the immense pleasure to meet once because I used to work for Apple, he said, I'm convinced that what separates the successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance. Pure perseverance. If you actually read his life story and realize the hardships he went through, both financially, spiritually, and physically, to get Apple as a company to where it is or where he got it to, you will count yourself lucky that you didn't have to go through what that man went through. He went through hell and back to make Apple what it is today, but he never gave up. He always kept his eye on the big prize, the big picture. He wasn't bogged down in the detail of the thing. Okay, I get a lot of people in my business who are so detail retentive. They've got to know how it all works. Listen, I haven't got a clue how Cashfx works, and I don't care. What I care about is building a team. Okay, I'm building a team. I'm helping people build a team. I'm building a team, helping people build a team. Okay, I don't need to know every mathematical thing about it. I don't need to know how this works or how that works. I don't even need to know what's going on behind the scenes of the company. All I need to know is I've got an amazing opportunity here to build an income for myself and my family and help other people do the same. That's all I need to know. So I'm going to stick at that until I've built a massive income for myself and my family, and I've helped other people build a massive income for themselves and their family, okay? So perseverance is very, very key. And a lot of people struggle to understand what business we are in, okay? This is a key part of mindset and understanding where you are in the business. One thing I can tell you is that we're not in the convincing business. We're not here to convince anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. We're just not. Because the minute you start to try and convince somebody, you're going to start to hit resistance. It's a natural human reaction, okay? And the man that prescribed it best was a very, very, very wealthy man. At one point, he was the wealthiest man in the world. If you've never read any of his books, you need to start reading his books too. A man called Dale Carnegie. He was at one point the wealthiest man in the world, okay? And he said that a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So never try and convince anyone to join your business. Merely show them the business by putting them on the call. Let them come to it under their own mind. And when they do, they're going to be a much better team member for you. And that leads us into the fact that we're not into the forcing business. We're not into the business of forcing people. You've got to join this. You've got to do this. That's not us. Because again, the more you do that, the more somebody will resist what it is you're trying to show them here. Listen, we have what I think is probably the most phenomenal product and system on the planet. This is why I'm here. You know, I rejected this 7 times. I haven't touched anything but my other business for the last 13 years. But I'm here, boys and girls. Why do you think that is? You know, I like to think that I'm not an idiot. I like to think that I can see an opportunity when one presents itself. Okay? I'm actually, you know, I kick myself. I've said this before. I kick myself that I didn't get into the first time I was shown. Okay? But I'm also grateful that I didn't get into this the first time I was shown it, because now I know I'm in the right team, because I'm in Rich's team, and I'm working with a good friend of mine who brought me to this, James Lamb, very, very experienced network, a great friend of mine. He's probably on the call, and I'm grateful to James for showing it to me. Okay, because he had the foresight to think of me and go, do you know what? I need to show this to Ray. Okay, and he didn't have to force me. He simply put me on a call with Richard. And I knew Richard. Richard and I have known each other for a long time. I just didn't know he was in this. And then when I got on the call with Richard, I was already comfortable because we knew each other. And I sat there for 45 minutes and I let Richard explain it to me. And I knew by about halfway through the presentation that I was in. I was hooked. Okay, because I saw the opportunity. I didn't question Richard on the detail. I think when we got to the end of the call, I just said, yeah, it's great. I'm getting involved. Where do I sign up? I didn't need to know anything. You know, I had questions, but they can wait. I wanted to get started. And I've learned it as I went along. You know, I've met people in network marketing over the years who spend 6, 7 months trying to understand it. And in that 6 or 7 months, they could have built a team. You know, I've met people in this business who've been in it for almost as long as I have, you know, 70, 60, 70 days, but they're so bogged down in the detail, they're not building a team. They're just not. So they're not getting to the larger incomes that we're getting to. And it's fine if they want to do the detail. It's just not me. It's not what I do. Okay. And so we're not in the forcing business. We're not here to force people into our system. One business that we're definitely not in is the recruiting business. Okay. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to interview a load of people and see if they're right for my business. I don't want to look at their CVs because it makes no difference. Okay. You know, Richard talks about Hazel. And I'm going to talk about Hazel because she's a bit of a phenomenon, a legend in her own lunchtime, bless her. You know, Hazel's a 68-year-old grandmother, you know, never done this before, never been involved in network marketing. If she'd have come to me and I'd sat there and interviewed her and said, now then, Hazel, can you tell me what your experience is in this industry? And she got my CV out and I go, well, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. You've never done any network marketing. I don't think you're right for this. You know, that's what recruiters do. They interview people to see if they're right. I don't do that. What I do is I prospect on LinkedIn and other places, and I invite people to come and have a look. I don't recruit people, okay? So the question is then, if we're not in, you know, the convincing business or the forcing business or the recruiting business, what business are we in? Well, we're in the inviting business, okay? As I said a moment ago, I don't recruit people, I don't force people, I don't convince people. What I do is a simple thing. I invite people to come and take a look at something. No strings attached. Free workshop that Richard does every day, twice a day. I'm just going to tell you, listen, Richard is a professional man, okay? I'm a professional man. I do not give my time away for free because I'm not a charity and neither is Richard. However, every day of the week, sometimes twice a day, Richard gives up an hour of his time. Now, I don't know what his consultancy rates are, but if he was consulting to me 2 hours a day, I suspect he'd be putting a pretty big invoice into me at the end of the month. But here, Richard gives his time for free, for the benefit of us. Okay, he sits there day in, day out, doing the same live presentation, day in, day out, and he does it with joy in his voice, happiness in his heart, and he's never miserable about it. Okay, and you have to recognize the commitment that Richard makes to us as a team, because his mindset is absolutely in the right place. Okay, and I hope one day to be able to alleviate some of that work from him by being able to do some presentations for myself, okay, for the team. So we're in the business of inviting business, and if Richard is prepared to do those presentations for us, I'm very prepared to go and invite people to come and take a look at what Richard says. I'm here because of that presentation that Richard does. All of us are here because of that presentation that Richard does. You would not have a team potentially unless Richard does those presentations. And if you're not inviting people to those presentations, you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry, but you are. Okay, learn to become a professional inviter. Just learn to say, hey, I've got something, come and take a look. Hey, can I invite you to this? Come and take a look. Okay, Eric Worre says it. Become a professional inviter. Learn how to invite. Okay, just do it. Now, some people have a fear, and it's the biggest business killer is the fear of rejection. They go, well, what if somebody says no? What if somebody says this? What? So what? What's the worst thing can happen? The worst thing that can happen is they can say no. Listen, it's part of the deal. Some people are you're not going to win everyone you talk to. It just, having said that, in this business, we've got a phenomenal conversion rate. It's up there in the 97, 98% at the moment. Okay. But not everyone is going to say yes, when you invite them. But don't worry about it. And the reason that you shouldn't worry about it is because no is actually a result. It's a positive result. Why is it a positive result? It's a positive result because if somebody says, no, this is not for me, you know where you are with that person. You know now that you don't need to spend any more time on that person. That's a positive thing. Thank them for their answer. I do it all the time. When somebody says, this isn't for me, I say, hey, that's great. Thank you for letting me know. I'm really grateful that you've made that decision. Be positive and happy that they've given you a firm decision that allows you to move forward in your business. If somebody says yes, that's a fantastic result because now, once again, you know what to do with that result. You know how to move that forward, okay? You now know that they're going to join your business or that they're going to take a look at your business and you can invite them to the call, okay? This, on the other hand, is not a result. When somebody says, I don't know, what do you do with that? What I tend to do with them is say, I just tend to push them away. I say, well, when you can make a decision, come back and let me know. So I effectively push them away. I kind of turn them into a no because I can deal with that. And I just say, come back to me when you can make a decision. And the sad truth is, some people just don't know how to make a decision. They just don't. It's just some people. Live with it. Get used to it. That's how it works. Okay? So one of the things that I actually do, and you've probably heard this before, is I go seeking the rejection. I go looking for the no's, okay? Because I know that the more no's I get, the more yeses I will get. But I never let a no go wasted, okay? Again, I was having this call with a guy in Thailand not long ago, and whenever someone says no to me, I treat that as an opportunity. And what I say is something like this. I know this won't be for you, but I also know you know people who are interested in making extra income to supplement what they already earn. Listen, I'd be grateful if you could pass me their details so I could contact them about this. Okay? Sometimes I use this as my initial approach. Sometimes I go straight in with this. Sometimes I say, hey, look, I know you're involved in that over there. I know this won't be for you, but I also know you know people who are interested in making extra income to supplement what they already earn. I'd be really grateful if you could pass me their details so I can contact them about this. And often they'll say, well, actually, I didn't really mean no. All right, I'll have a look. Because the one thing that people fear most is that you actually might try to go around them and get to their contacts, and suddenly their contacts become your team and they're going to miss out. So it's that FOMO thing kicking in again. So sometimes I use this as my opening gambit. Sometimes I use this as my opening statement with people. Okay. So I'm almost pushing them away from the beginning to bring them back. Okay. So never fear a no. A no can be your best friend. There's nothing to fear about no. Okay. And there's an old saying in network marketing, leaders are readers. If you sat down with Richard and I, you could probably learn very quickly that Richard and I have probably read all the same books. Many, many books the same. I've read tons and tons and tons and tons of books over the years about network marketing, okay? But of all the books I've ever read, this is the book, okay? If you've not read this book, you haven't lived, because it's funny and it's hilarious and it's just good fun. And it taught me to love rejection. It taught me how to turn rejection into direction. Okay, how to deal with no's, how to deal with people and respond to people. I still got it and I still read it from time to time to refresh my memory. Okay, it's 21 Secrets for Turning Rejection into Direction. It is by a country mile, it is the best book I've ever read on how to build a network marketing business. Okay, and how to deal with people. And it's dirt cheap on Amazon. Go and buy yourself a copy, get it on Audible, and get into it, because you'll start converting more people because of what's in this book. Okay. And we spoke in part 4 of the power build. You know, if you get somebody who says, I like this, you've got to ask for the sale. You've got to collect the buying decision. Okay. At some point in the conversation, you know, when you've answered all their questions, overcome any objections they've got, you've got to say, hey, John, great. Now that we know you can see all the benefits, let's get you registered so that I can begin to build your team with you. Should we do that? Okay. It's not difficult because you've answered their question. And if they ask another question, deal with that. And then at some point, come back to this. Great. So now that we've answered that question and you can see all the benefits, should we get you registered so that I can begin to build your team with you? Should we do that? Always come back to collecting the buying decision. If you don't, you won't get the buying decision. So don't be afraid to ask it, because the worst thing that can happen is they say, I changed my mind. Great. I've got another question. Fine. Or I'm ready. Let's go. I did a call with somebody the other day, and I said to the guy in the middle of the call, I said, sounds to me like you're ready to get started. And he went, oh yeah, I am. I went, great, let's get you registered so that we can begin to build your team with you. Should we do that? He went, God, yeah. So it's not difficult. And listen, you know, talking about fear and rejection, what if they like this and they want to join? Like my guy did the other day with my prospect. If they do say, wow, that's great. Look, I'm so glad you've got the same opinion of this as me. Perhaps we could combine our efforts and grow this together. Okay. So let's get you registered so that I can begin to build your team with you. Shall we do that? Okay. It's just not difficult. It's very, very easy. Make it fun. Always have a smile on your face. Have a happy heart and an attitude of gratitude, and you will succeed. Don't focus on the problems. The problems will go away. But if you handhold your team, as Richard says, if you make sure you're on those calls, and if you don't know how to do it, get your upline involved. There are plenty of people in my team who will confirm, I'm sure, that I do their sign-up calls with them. because I want to support them, and I make sure that they're learning this as we go along. Sometimes I record those sign-up calls and I send them to them on Zoom, because you can record things on Zoom. And I go, there you go, you've got a reference. Now learn that, and you'll be able to sign up people. You know, and I've got people who are now almost doing their sign-ups on their own. Guess what they're going to teach their team? They're going to teach their team the same thing. And so you're going to find people who come to this, and instead of giving you a no, they're going to give you a yes. It's just natural. It's a numbers game, okay? And I hear a lot of people say to me in their business, I'm going to try and do this, and I'm going to try and do that, and I'm going to try and get 6 people in, and I'm going to try and do this, and I'm going to try and invite 20 people to the call this week. And this gentleman here is somebody who I'm very in tune with, because Yoda said, "Do or do not. There is no try. Do or do not. There is no try. Don't try and do something. Don't try and do this. Don't try and do this or that. Do it. Just do it." And this man, Art Williams, one of my favorite multi-millionaires out of network marketing, said, "What's the primary difference between winners and losers? The winners do it, and they do it, and do it, and do it, and do it until the job gets done." If you look at Richard, he's on it, he's on it, he's on it, he's on it, he's on it all day long. If you look at me, I'm on it all day long. I'm on it, I'm on it, I'm on it. I'm prospecting, inviting, prospecting, inviting, prospecting, inviting, prospecting, doing support calls with my team, sign-up calls, making sure that people are getting signed up, making sure that I'm training my team. This is a business. You've got to put the effort in, okay? You can't just sit back and relax and expect somebody new who you've introduced to understand how to open how to install Google Authenticator, or how to open an Uphold account, or how to open a Cashfx account. You can't expect them to know that, particularly if you don't know it. So get with your sponsor who does know it and say, "Hey, can you show me how to do this? Can you help me sign up this person? Can we record that call so I can go back and review that and make notes?" Okay? Have that training mentality from the get-go, and then just do it and do it and do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. You should go and watch the video of Art Williams talking about this, because it is absolutely hilarious what he says. And a lot of people have said to me, "Well, how come you're building your business so fast? How comes, I've been in at the same time as you, but I don't have 230 people in my team, which is what I've got today?" And I say to them this: look, you have to be seen to be setting the pace from the front, and then you have to dare everyone in your team to keep up, okay? You have to dare everyone in your team to keep up, because if you walk along at a snail's pace, guess what everyone in your team is going to do? They're all going to walk along at a snail's pace. Whereas if you go at it like a bull in a china shop and an out of control rhinoceros, okay, and you set the pace from the front, and you keep that pace going, and keep that pace going, and keep that pace going, in 2 or 3 years' time, you'll look around you and there'll be 5 or 6 people that manage to keep up with you, who will be wealthy people with you, okay? I'm going to relate a story to you that I once heard, and it was by a very great man called Bill Cherry. And Bill Cherry was one of the first people to become a billionaire out of network marketing. He was involved in Amway from a very, very, very early age. And I remember going to see Bill at the NEC, and he stood in front of 10,000 people, and he said that somebody once asked him how he got to be so wealthy in network marketing, and he went, "Oh, that's easy." He said, "I worked like an idiot, and I spoke to 50,000 people, and out of those 50,000 people, 15,000 people said to me, 'Bill, we're going to set the world on fire.'" And he said, "That's great." And then over time, out of those 15,000 people, there was about 6,000 people that said, "Bill, we're so fired up about this. We're absolutely going to take the world by storm with this." And Bill said, "Yeah, that's great." And then he said, over time, out of those 6,000 people, there was about 500 people that said, "Bill, we're going to make this into the biggest thing the world has ever seen." And he said, "That's great." And then he said, out of those 500 people, there were 6 people that made me a billionaire. 6 people made him a billionaire. And it's the same in every network marketing company. You will build a team and you will find the leaders will rise to the top of your team. We have a saying, the cream rises to the top, okay? And Richard has that in his team. I hope that I'm included in that. I would like to think I am, because I'm setting the pace from the front. And in fact, Richard has set the pace for me. Richard has dared me to keep up by setting such a breakneck speed of building a team. Richard's been in the business 12 months, 10,000 people in his team. I want to be bigger than Richard when I get to be 12 months in the business, okay? Because I want to be running alongside Richard in 3 or 4 years. I want to be one of those 5 or 6 people that he dared to keep up, and I kept up with him, okay? So I'm on it, and I'm on it, I'm on it, I'm on it, I'm on it all day. Whether it's supporting my team, whether it's signing people up, whether it's prospecting, whether it's inviting people to the call, I'm on it, and I'm on it, and I'm on it, and I'm on it, and I will not give up until this race is done, okay? Because I have perseverance and mindset to do this, okay? So it is a fact that every champion was once a contender who refused to give up. I joined Cashfx knowing what I was joining, okay? Knowing why I was joining and knowing what I had to do to be successful in it, okay? And nothing, but nothing anyone says to me now will make me give up the mission that I am on, okay? I know that what I'm about to say to you may not be comprehensible by some people. I know that within a couple of years, there will be people in this business earning $1 million a month from this business. I'm going to be one of them. You notice I didn't say, I hope I'm going to be one of them, because there is no try, there is do or do not. I am going to be one of those people. Richard is going to be one of those people. And I hope to see some of you guys being those people that are earning $1 million a month from this phenomenal business that we have here, okay? And remember, SW, SW, SW next. I was taught this, and I'm going to mention the guy's name. I was taught this by a dear friend of mine who passed away about a year ago. And there are people on this call who know him, a gentleman called 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣𝙠 𝙔𝙤𝙧, and he taught me this. And SW, SW, SW next stands for some will, some won't, so what, next, okay? Some people will love it and they'll get in. Some people will hate it and they'll say no, fine, so what? None of it matters. Just keep going. Just talk to the next person. Talk to the next person. Talk to the next person. When I say talk, replace the word talk with invite. Invite the next person. Invite the next person. Invite the next person. And the cream will rise to the top and set the pace and have the mindset and have the perseverance. Just keep going. You know, Richard is uber successful in this business. Uber successful in this business. Do you think he's going to stop because tomorrow's Sunday? Do you think he's going to stop, put his slippers on, sit in his living room, smoke a pipe and read the paper? No, absolutely not. I know what Richard's doing tomorrow. I know what he's doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. I know what he's doing for the next month. I know what he's doing for the next 6 months, because he's doing exactly the same as I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be building a business, okay? And we won't stop doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it until the job is done, as Art Williams says, okay? And even then we probably won't stop, because we just love the business, okay? And I want to just touch on something, timing. Timing is important in 2 ways, because, you know, there are a lot of people out there say, oh yeah, I'll do it someday, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next year, I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow. If that's your mentality, if that's your mindset, what the hell are you doing here? Really? What are you doing here? Okay? If you want to build a business, do it now. Today. Start right now. Start inviting. That's the way to build a business. Start inviting people onto the calls. Okay? The people that invite people onto the calls are the ones that build their business. There's a gentleman on this call who has been around network marketing for a very long time. Okay? And we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to mention his name. He said, I'm ready now. I'm done. I'm finished with, you know, worrying about things. I want to make this happen. So he came to that point of realization in his mindset, and he said, I'm ready, show me. And I spent some time training with him. He did exactly what I told him to do, because he followed a simple system. I gave him a simple system. He now has a growing team. He's introduced some really good people, some good networkers. That team is growing, and he's getting people on the calls every day because he's taking action now. And for the first time in his multi-level career, if you like, he's building a team simply because he's decided to take action, follow a simple system and stick with it. Okay. And timing is important in another way because, you know, there's a lot of people that look at this business and they go, oh yeah, you know, I'll see how it goes with other people first. How many times you heard that? I'll see how it works out, or I'll put $300 in and I'll wait for 6 months and see how it goes. Well, to those people, I say, if you don't take action today, the day will come when you wish you had. If you don't take action today, the day will come when you will wish that you had. And that was said by a guy called Peter Thompson, another very good friend of mine and an amazing, amazing mentor and educator. If you haven't heard Peter Thompson talk, you haven't lived. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful man. Okay. So timing is important in more than one way. You can either do it now or you can do it later. Okay. If you want to do it later, come back to me when you're ready because I'm too busy working with the people that are doing it now. Okay. I'm dealing with the people that are doing it now. Because at any given moment, you have the power to say, this is not how my story will end. Listen, we're all living on borrowed time. Over the last few years, I'm 55 now, I don't mind people knowing that. Over the last few years, I've lost 2 or 3 lifelong friends. They've passed away, and they've all passed away in their 50s. And it brought home a realization to me that at 55, I'm now heading towards the legacy stages of my life. Okay? As Warren Buffett said, make as much money as you can, fast as you can, because none of us are getting out alive. We aren't. So if you wait, how will your story end? If you get started today, how will your story end? I suspect it will end differently if you get going and get started today and set the pace and get the mindset. I suspect your story will end very differently and very much more happily. Okay? I'm already successful. I know how my story is going to end. I just want my story to end even better. It's like taking the best film you've ever seen and rewriting the end so it's even better. So, any given moment, you have the power to say, this is not how my story will end. Because the distance between your dreams and reality is called action. That's all it takes. It takes action. It takes getting up in the morning, inviting people, working with them, building a team, inviting people, working with them, building a team, inviting people, working with them, building a team. And Richard does the action every day. I do the action every day. Other people in the team do the action every day. Because the distance between your dreams and the reality of your life is called action. If you want the big house and the big car and the holidays and the lifestyle, you have to take the action to make the dreams a reality. If you don't take the action, they're just going to stay dreams. They just are. So, I'm going to thank you very, very, very much for your time and your attention today. I hope this has been of some use to you. I hope this has been inspirational to you. I hope this is giving you a new focus and a new determination to be one of those people, if you're in my team, that is there with me in 3 or 4 years when I look around. I hope that you can take something from this and go, do you know what? I'm going to stop messing about now. I'm going to stop wasting my time. I'm going to stop entrenching myself in the problems. I'm going to focus on the thing that matters most, which is building a team and supporting the team and inviting people. Invite, build, support. Invite, build, support. Get that mentality and that motion in your day. Make those your actions and your dreams will become a reality. As Richard said, I'm Ray Sinclair. I thank you very, very much for your time. I appreciate your attention. And with that, I'm going to hand you back to our wonderful mentor, Richard. Thank you, Richard.
Well, thanks very much, Ray. Brilliant training session there. And it is one of the most important aspects of our business is being able to have the right mindset and do the activities. And Ray, you said some very nice things about me there, but I do nothing special, but what I do is I do a lot of a very basic thing. My routine is so monotonous. It's the same thing again and again and again. I'm just following a simple system, and I keep doing that system. And so this is such an important thing. Just as Ray was talking about the McDonald's thing, we know how it works. It's a very simple process. You don't have to overanalyze it. I mean, it's very true. I see this all the time. Smart people really do struggle sometimes with making money, because they're always trying to figure out how things work and ways of doing this and doing that and shortcutting it and everything else. And that's the great thing about this business. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be clever. You don't have to be pretty. You don't have to do any of those things. What you have to be good at is just doing a very basic thing again and again and again. And that's the key thing, and doing a lot of it. Certainly, particularly when you first start your network marketing career, if you're new to the industry, that's when you've got to really put in the effort to get that foundation to start building a business. And the thing is, guys, we actually have a most remarkable set of circumstances here. One of the challenges people always have is that life will always get in the way. You've got your job, your business, other things will always try and get in the way normally, but we don't have that right now. Right now, everyone is at home, which gives so much more time to you to invest. When I first started my network marketing career, I was a corporate sales and marketing director, and therefore I was working very long hours. I had a commute, and I was getting in the office at 7, and I was often leaving at 7 or even 8 because I was working long hours. But what I did was I worked every second between those times. When I was on a lunch break, when I was in the car, as soon as I got home, I'd grab something to eat, then I'd be on the phone. Weekends were taken up fully with the business. I literally had no time freedom. But what I was doing was I was investing in my future. I had a very strong why, and that was to get out of the corporate world. So I put in the effort. And by the way, again, Ray talked a little bit about, the fact that, does it help if you're someone that's a clever business person or someone that's, successful in a job or whatever? No, it doesn't. In fact, it can actually really hinder you. In fact, when I first started, I was sales director of a company that did office interior contracts. We used to kit out companies like BP, the Daily Mail, Shell, etc. Massive companies, Glaxo Research. It was a very, very competitive market, very high end. We were doing presentations to boards of companies because they were multi-million pound contracts. And as I said, very, very competitive market. And I then applied that when I came into network marketing. And guess what happened? Nothing. I was a disaster. Why? Because what I was trying to do was bring the corporate world into the network marketing world. And I was trying to be too clever. My presentations were just like a board presentation. And the poor person I was trying to do the presentation to nearly ran for the door because they were thinking, oh my goodness, do I have to be like this person to be able to build the business and everything else? So this gets back. You've got to break it down. Let the tools do the work for you with the Power Build system and everything else. And our job is just sifting. One of the fascinating things is people are often worried about getting a no from people. But the funny thing is have you noticed how difficult it is to get a no from people? I don't know what it is. I think people are just trying to be polite or something. But a lot of people are terrified of saying, actually, no, it's something not for me. It's something that I have as a courtesy. If someone shows me a business and I look at it, I will go back to them and I'll say no. And I'll explain exactly why I've said no, but I give them that definitive answer. A lot of people, they don't respond. They sort of go, oh, maybe, and then you can't get hold of them. It can actually be very difficult at getting a no. So don't actually worry about that. You really do want that no. So just, thanks, great, fantastic, you're moving on. You've got absolutely nothing to worry about. There's actually a great story. A guy took over a top insurance company, and they were really struggling with sales, and their salespeople were highly trained and this, that, and the other. He watched what they were doing for quite a while. And then he called a sales meeting and said, right, I'm going to teach you guys a new strategy. And they were like, wow, we've been taught everything under the sun, so this is going to be an amazing thing. So what's he going to teach us? And he said, right, what I want you to do is go out, knock on doors. And when the person answers the door, and they were like, yeah, it's going to be some amazing thing he's going to say. He said, what I want you to say is, you're not looking for insurance, are you? And there was sort of silence in the room, and they were like, well, that's not going to work. They're just going to say no. And he said, precisely. He said, you go and do that until you get a yes. And sales went through the roof that week. Why? Because they were only talking to the person that was interested in insurance. So they were saying, no, no, no. They were getting through those no's quickly, 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 until they found someone that said, yes, actually, I am looking for insurance. They were the person that they spent the time with. And once they got their head around that, where the sales had gone through the roof, he said, now when you talk to someone and they say no, what you then say is, you don't know anyone who is, do you? And sales went up even further. So that gets back to what we're doing here. Our business is just an inviting business. It's a system. You just follow the system. And that's what I love about this. It's a great leveler. Doesn't matter what your background is. Absolutely not. The difference is between the people that are making the most money and the people that are not, are the people that are putting in the effort, are coachable, following the system and putting in the effort. There's a lot of people on this call are world-class builders. They are doing incredible, incredible things with their business. But I can guarantee you, it doesn't matter what their background is, they're going to be very, very different people, but they're all going to be doing the same thing. They're on it, on it, on it, on it. So that's the key, guys. Follow the system and just do the activities. Go through, sift, find for those people. Teach them how to follow the system. Remember, new people coming in, they don't approach anyone until they're trained. Once they're trained, then they're allowed to go out there, use the system to build the business. Make sure you're hand-holding, really important. Make sure they're signing up properly, and you're watching everything they're doing. Teach them how to do the same with their people, then you're going to build a very successful business from there. So guys, thanks very much for listening in today. Appreciate you coming on the call. As I said, always get people on these calls every Saturday. We're going to be, by the way, revisiting the Power Build system training, so we're going to be doing that as well. So the new people coming into the business can get those first training modules and moving through from there. So thanks very much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And always, of course, don't forget, I've got the next presentation coming up in whatever it is, an hour or something from now at 2 p.m. UK time. All right, thanks very much. Take care, guys.